Hey guys, welcome back to Python for Computational Biology. In this video, we're going to do a little more Python. We're going to learn how to load data, do a little bit of kind of preliminary analysis, a little more advanced stuff than we did in the last video where we just kind of added stuff and created variables. And make sure to save your data if you're doing this for Praxis, or save your Python notebook. And so let's go ahead, jump right in. All right, so first things first, look at this. Look at this title. Let's change that. Analyzing data. All right, there we go. Forgot to do that. I'm gonna do it live. All right. So let's open a Python 3 notebook. Let's close. I'm going to close Python 3 notebook. First things first, desktop, classroom, my files. Make sure you're in your my files directory. Then I'm going to open it because it'll be here. And I guess I can save my notebook already. And I'm just going to save this as analyzing data. Okay, so first things first, we're going to do a function. We're going to import a package called numpy or numpy. So let's run that. And so it stands for, like I said, numpy, or numpy, but it's numerical Python. So when you want to do fancy stuff with numbers, with matrices and arrays and different data types, you want to use something like NumPy. Import just means to like load it, so it's kind of already behind the scenes, but we're telling Python, okay, we're probably going to do stuff with numbers, so let's get all those tools ready. So one of the tools that we can do is we can load a txt file. So if we do NumPy load txt, fname equals inflammation 01.csv, and delimiter. So delimiter means what is between separating the values in the text file. I know this is not going to work already. Inflammation is not found. So what we need to do is, I'm going to close this. So if you get this not found, what's happening is we're not in the right folder, right? And so this is good, the my files thing, but we want to go further. So it's my files, and then I have so many of these things I have to look through. What did we save it as? The data. It was, or I think it was software carpentry, SW. So you want to go into your folder, SWC Python, right? And then you want to go into data and see that's where all of our data is. So we're going to work out of this folder. So now that I'm in this folder that has all of our data, I'm going to click this. Alternatively, what you could do, and I'm going to save my notebook as, make sure you leave all these things, just change untitled to, what did I say, analyzing patient data. Alternatively, what you could do is, every time you call a file that you want to load, give it the whole path name, so you can work out of whatever directory you want, but this is just going to reduce the amount of typing that we're doing. So import numpy. Now we're going to use numpy, and we're going to load txt, and our file name, fname, is going to equal inflammation 01.csv delimiter. So what is spacing out the numbers in our file? And since it's a CSV stands for comma separated values. So now I'm going to run this. And you can see it has loaded an array with all of our data. And that's, let's see. So this is a function call that uses the function load text from the NumPy package, load txt from the NumPy package to bring things into the Python environment. So this dot notation is used as an object, attribute, property specifier, or invoking method. So you have an object, in this case it's NumPy, and then the property, so it says the object is the package, so we say look at the package NumPy, and then we have a property or a call, we say load text, so that's what we want from the NumPy package is the load text function, then we give it our stuff to do. So, all right, let's keep, now what we want to do, we want to save it as a variable though, right? So we just called it and we printed it, and that doesn't really help us, right? So what you can do, you can just copy this, copy, paste, but we're in front of it, we're going to put data equals, right? So we're going to say, save it as a variable, data equals NumPy load text, fname, blah, blah, blah. And so now we've saved it as data. All this stuff is saved as a variable. So if we say print data, what we should get is the same thing, but we've saved it. So now anytime we say print data, which is much smaller than typing this whole thing, then we get our printout. So we can also do something like print type data. So that's also what it is. It's a NumPy array. NDA stands for, or ND array is non-dimensional array. That's good. What else? Okay, another thing that we can do to look at our data is we can print data dot shape. So we can see it's 60 by 40, so 60 rows and 40 columns. So now let's look at print. We're going to say first value in data, and we're going to say data, and we're going to pick 0, 0. So this is a weird thing. So if you're an R person, if you're someone that took all your R courses with me, or you just know R in general and you're just trying to pick up Python as well, in R, numerically things go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? It's just how we logically think of things. I don't know what the person was thinking who wrote Python. There must be some reason for this. But in Python, counting goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we want the very first thing, like at the top left corner of a spreadsheet, the first row in the first column, it is 0, 0. Not 1, 1. It's 0, 0. You're like, I don't know why. But it's something to remember because it'll mess you up. Okay, so... oops, why is it doing that? Oh, yeah, okay. So it is 0.0, the first value. So if you look up here, right, 0.0 is the first value at the top left. And then we can say print middle value in data. And then we can say data 29, 19. Because remember, this is going to mess people up. we have how many? 60 rows, or 60 values and 40 values. But because we have we start at 0, 29 would be halfway instead of 30, because we've shifted over 1. And the same thing for the columns. 40, you would be like, oh, 20 is halfway. No, 19 is halfway because we count 0. Why they did it, I don't know. So our middle value is 16. So this assesses what is in row 30, column 20. So programming languages like Fortran, MATLAB, and R start counting at 1 because that's what human beings have done for thousands of years. I'm reading the notes for this. Yes, it makes sense. We've always done this. So why? Languages in the C family, so C++, Java, Perl, and Python count from 0 because it represents an offset from the first value in the array. This is closer to the way that computers represent arrays. Blah, 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 blah. It's stupid. As a result, if we have a m times n array in Python, it goes blah, blah, blah. All right, it's stupid. I'm not going to defend it. There's going to be computer science people who are like, it makes all the sense in the world. It makes no sense. And I'm going to stick to that. But that's the way it works. So we're going to have to learn to deal with the way that whoever wrote this language decided that we're going to use 0 as our first number. Okay, moving on before I get angry. Slicing data. So we can slice whole sections out of one of these arrays. So we can take, excuse me, like the first 10 days or columns for the first 4 patients. So if we did something like print data, we said we want the first the first 4 what was this? Patients, and the first 10 columns. Now, you might look at this and be confused again. So, actually, I'm going to run it first so we can see what it does. Okay, so we have 4 patients, 2, 3, 4, and then 10 columns going this way, which I can't really select. So, to make things, you might think, okay, if we're starting at 0, wouldn't this be the 5th value? Yes, it is the 5th value. But the way Python works is it says this command, unlike R would be like, okay, use columns 0 through 4. In Python, this means start at 0 and go up to, but don't include number 4. So this means use columns 0, 1, 2, and 3. Same thing for the columns, or sorry, this is rows. So it's rows 0 through 4, or 0 through 3, but not 4. This says use columns 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 10 rows, but don't include column number 10. Okay? All right, so we could also do slices that we don't start at 0. So we can do 5 through 10 and 0 through 10. So you can see we have 5 rows, we have 10 columns again. But this is row 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But not row 10, because it's up to 10, right? And then it's columns 0 through, numerically 0 through 9. Python language, or numerically it's 1 through 10. Python language, it's 0 through 9, if that makes sense. Okay. So we don't have to include like the bounds, like upper or lower bounds. What we can do instead is we can do small equals data, and we can say 3 36 like that. And then we can say print small is, and then run that. Oh, whoops. Print small. I should put these all together, but whatever. And so it uses 0 by default. So if we don't include the upper, the slice runs to the end of the access. And if we don't include either of it, it runs, the slice includes everything, right? So in this case, we have anything to 3, and then 36 to anything. So it selects rows 0, 1, 2, or 0, 1, and 2, so the first 3, and columns 36 through the end of the array. So that's what these, so there's only 4, remember, because we're 40 columns. So we said 36 to the end. So 37, 38, 39, and 40, because remember, a column had 40 rows. Okay, so what are we at? 16 minutes. All right. Now that I've exploded your heads with how... Oh, no, go back. You don't want to do that yet. Okay. Save your work. So, save. You already saved the name of your stuff. Make sure you hit save. It should say down at the bottom, saving complete. Okay. So, we're going to end there right now with the wonderful annotation, or wonderful way that the number system set up in Python. And so, like I said, for those of you that have taken R, there's a lot of similarities, right? So like arrays and saving things as variables and things like that. But then there are weird differences that are going to trip you up. The counting system, starting at 0, equal signs versus the arrows that I like to use. You can actually use equal signs in R as well, but some people, I like the arrows better. The way that you call functions, so numpy, dot, load, text, load txt, things like that. So they're just slight differences. But if you learn one, and then to learn the next one, you just have to learn the nuances. You don't really have to learn a new language. You just have to learn the little tiny things. Take what you already knew for R and just learn what makes them different. And then, it's like half the work. It's like people that learn Romance languages, right? So they're all based on Latin. So if you learn French, it's really easy to pick up Spanish and Italian and the other Romance languages. That's it. All right. So with that, we're gonna get more into some analyzing data in the next video. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.